100 years of pioneering aviation. Boeing was founded by William Boeing and George Conrad Westervelt on July 15, 1916 in Seattle, Washington. The original name is Pacific Aero Products Co. The company's first plane was a single-engine, two-seat seaplane, the B&W. A year later, when America entered the First World War, Boeing obtained orders from the U.S. Navy for 50 planes. The company moved its operations to a larger former shipbuilding facility, known as Boeing Plant 1, located on the lower Duwamish River in Washington State, and changed the name from Pacific Aero Products to Boeing Airplane Company. As World War I ended, a large surplus of cheap, used military planes flooded the commercial airplane market, preventing aircraft companies from selling any new airplanes, driving many out of business. Others, including Boeing, started selling other products. Boeing then had to build and sell dressers, counters, and furniture, along with flat-bottom boats called sea sleds. Later, it began to concentrate on commercial aircraft by joining with Frederick Rentschler of Pratt & Whitney to form United Aircraft and Transportation Corporation. The new holding venture encompassed both manufacturing and airline operations. In a short time, it bought a host of small airlines, merging with others, and then secured contracts to supply airmail service, and later, passenger service, that evolved into United Airlines. Because of the 1934 Airmail Act prohibiting airlines and manufacturers from being under the same corporate umbrella, the company split into three smaller companies: Boeing Airplane Company, United Airlines, and United Aircraft Corporation, the precursor to United Technologies. Boeing retained the Stearman facilities in Wichita, Kansas. Following the breakup, William Boeing sold off his shares and left Boeing. Claremont L. Echtvet then became Boeing's president and chairman as well. As World War II started, Boeing built a large number of military aircrafts. It became the top defense contractor for the government. The B-17, the Flying Fortress, and B-29, Super Fortress, are among the most famous Boeing models of those times. The B-29 had a great range that was fundamental in winning the war in the Pacific region, while B-17 was used for high-altitude missions in Europe. At the peak of the war, the production had been scaled up in such a manner that over 350 planes were built each month. As the war ended, most orders of bombers were canceled, and as a result, 70,000 people lost their jobs at Boeing. The company aimed to recover quickly by selling its Stratocruiser, the Model 377, a luxurious four-engine commercial airliner derived from the C-97. However, sales of this model were not as expected, and Boeing had to seek other opportunities to overcome the situation. In 1947, Boeing flew its first jet aircraft, the XB-47, from which the highly successful B-47 and B-52 bombers were derived. In 1958, Boeing created the 707, a four-engine airliner capable of carrying 156 passengers on a transatlantic route. Due to shorter journeys and more comfortable travel, 707 quickly won the hearts of passengers. The model was followed by the 727 Trijet and 737 Twinjet, the latter becoming the world's best-selling commercial plane by the end of the 20th century. In 1961, the company shortened its name to the current Boeing Company. In early 70s, Boeing suffered from the simultaneous decline in Vietnam War military spending, the slowing of the space program as Project Apollo neared completion, the recession of 69 to 70, and the company's $2 billion debt as it built the new 747 airliner. Boeing did not receive any orders for more than a year. Eventually, the first 747, a four-engine long-range airliner, flew its first commercial flight with Pan American World Airways. The 747 changed the airline industry, providing much larger seating capacity than any other airline in production. The company has delivered over 1,500 Boeing 747s so far. During the 1980s, as passenger air traffic increased, the competition was harder, mainly from Airbus, a European newcomer in commercial airliner manufacturing. Boeing had to offer new aircraft and developed the single-aisle 757, the larger twin-aisle 767, and upgraded versions of the 737. Boeing was also very active in upgrading existing military equipment and developing new ones. Boeing was one of 7 competing companies that bid for the Advanced Tactical Fighter. Boeing agreed to team with General Dynamics and Lockheed so that all 3 companies would participate in the development if one of the 3 companies' designs was selected.
Engine limit display markings. Maximum and minimum limits are red. Caution limits are amber. Engine ignition must be on for takeoff, landing, operation in heavy rain, anti-ice operation. Intentional selection of reverse thrust in flight is prohibited. APU bleed plus electrical load, max altitude, 10,000 feet. Ground only, APU bleed plus electrical load, max altitude, 15,000 feet. APU bleed, max altitude, 17,000 feet. APU electrical load, max altitude, 41,000 feet. APU bleed valve must be closed when ground air connected and isolation valve open. Engine number 1 bleed valve open. Isolation and engine number 2 bleed valves open. APU bleed valve may be open during engine start, but avoid engine power above idle. After 3 consecutive aborted start attempts, a 15-minute cooling period is required. The maximum altitude with flaps extended is 20,000 feet. Holding, in icing conditions with flaps extended is prohibited. In flight, do not extend the speed brake lever beyond the flight detent. Avoid rapid and large alternating control inputs, especially in combination with large changes in pitch, roll, or yaw, for example large side slip angles, as they may result in structural failure at any speed.
Let us talk about the strengths now. First is large market share and global presence. Boeing is the market leader in the commercial airplanes segment along with the French aviation giant, Airbus. Boeing's jetliner 737 forms the most common jetliner in demand than any other jetliner around the globe. Further, the 737 operating cost is lower by 8% than its main competitor Airbus. Second is consistently promising order backlog. The company had a defense, space, and security order backlog of $57 billion including $21 billion from international customers as of December 2016. Boeing booked 912 net new aircraft orders worth $134.8 billion in 2017. In fiscal 2018, the total order backlog reached 5,900 airplanes which can sustain 7 years of production. Third is reputed customer base. Boeing boasts of a reputed customer base spread across commercial and defense segments. Boeing's jetliner 747, also known as Air Force One, serves the U.S. President, giving the impression of the most secure plane on this planet. Boeing is also the lead supplier for most of the military aircraft and helicopters used in U.S. Air Force such as Apache and Chinook helicopters. The company counts NASA as one of its major competitors and is developing the core stages and avionics for the NASA Space Launch System. Fourth is rich product lineage. As aviation technology rapidly advanced and crossed many milestones, Boeing and its heritage companies conquered many challenges to build passenger airplanes, military aircraft, rotorcraft, space capsules, satellites, rockets and more. Boeing's product basket is divided into commercial airplanes, defense products, space products, and other systems like mobile communications service, hydrofoil, wind turbines, advanced information and communication systems, RDC, rapid transit car, PRTS, personal rapid transit system, turbine engine, and more. Fifth is consistently strong financial performance over the years. Record revenue of $101.1 billion for FY18 represents company's strong commercial deliveries and service growth. The company's operating cash flow clocked an all-time record of $15.3 billion and also the company has strong liquidity with $8.6 billion in cash and cash equivalents. Boeing's quarterly dividend per share was increased by 20%. The dividend has jumped over 180% in the past 5 years, while approximately $28 billion has been invested in key areas to support sustainable growth. Lastly, technology innovation with strong spend in research and development. Boeing is driving innovation which is transforming the aerospace and defense industry. The company has launched Boeing Analytics, Advanced Analytics Division and Boeing Horizon X, focusing on investments in innovation and new business ventures. Boeing has also implemented its optimized maintenance program service for the airline's 757 and 767 fleets using Boeing Analytics, which will increase efficiency by reducing maintenance labor costs, materials costs, and improvement of airplane maintenance ground time. The launch of Boeing Next leverages R&D expertise in creating future mobility solutions through accelerated innovation.